Good evening, everyone. This is Chris on IMTM Worldwide Radio, and this is around the ATL. And I am hoping I can remember how to do all of this. 646-652-4479. Tonight is a call-in show. I remembered our number. So let's go ahead and get through the intros real quick. And hopefully my co-host will come in so that way I can continue to invite certain people to the show. So before I get started, I just want to give a shout out to the NBA G League YouTube page and the House of Highlights YouTube page because I do have some clips on the show of some players tonight. So shout out to them. If you've never watched Around the ATL before, and this is your first time watching it, whether it be live or after you watch it later on today, tomorrow, next week, Around the ATL, we do a 2-hour show where we talk all Atlanta and Georgia sports. And it's seasonal as well, obviously. So whether it be the Braves or the Hawks or the Falcons, Atlanta Dream, Atlanta United, the new volleyball team, Atlanta Vibe, that's professional in Atlanta, or college, UGA, Georgia Tech, sometimes we talk about them, Georgia State, Albany State, Clark Atlanta. We talk all of those subjects. So if you're a fan of all of those teams in the city of Atlanta and the state of Georgia, definitely start tuning in. We're going to be doing this particular show a little bit more regularly than we have over the last few months. Now, Around the ATL side notes, if you've been watching that over the last couple of weeks, that's a topic show. I'm only picking out something in particular. And since the Atlanta Hawks offseason has been the buzz, that's why I've concentrated on. And I'm actually doing a review of the 2023 season. And so far, I've reviewed a few games. I'll talk about that a little bit later. If you get a chance, make sure you follow on Facebook and Instagram under, that's the wrong one, IMTM Worldwide Radio. You can also follow myself on Twitter, Intellect ATL, and my co-host Jordan Jackson there at Jordan23ATL. Don't forget, tonight is the call-in show. 646-652-4479 is the number. And of course, this show is brought to you by IMTM Worldwide Images. I am a photographer as well. So if you know someone who needs photos, headshots, portfolio pictures, business headshots, maybe you own a company or you know somebody who owns a company and everybody needs headshots, let me know about that. You can visit the website right there or also on Instagram, IMTM Worldwide Images 1. So that being said, let's see. I'm gonna try to stall just a little bit here now because I really want to have my co-host join, and plus I really want to try to invite the rest of these people. I've done a general invite, but I also like to actually hit up individual pages as well. And now I forgot which ones I've actually contacted, so I'll just do one more, and then on Twitter. I do the Facebook invite initially. Okay, there it is. I do the Facebook, the event, I should say, for everybody, and then I try to go back and on the actual page, I say, hey, we're actually on the air now. If you want to join in, definitely do so now. So I'm trying to do this for the Braves because I am doing a Braves segment today. And and again, because of just circumstances beyond my control, I am not able to do like I used to do and do shows a week in advance or plan shows a week in advance. I literally decided to do a show probably a little bit after 2-3 o'clock officially, because I actually scheduled it this morning and then I decided to go ahead and go through with it and not delete it this afternoon. I've been in the sun a little bit too, so bear with me a little bit as I get undiscombobulated just a bit. So I think I got all my invites. So I might do a couple more later. So this is what I'll do since I don't see my co-host. I think I sent him the info. I think I did. I'm pretty sure I did. I know I did actually. So he might not be available currently. So what I'll go ahead and do is kind of test the call-in part because we haven't done a call-in show in months, actually. So far, it looks like everything is working, but y'all get to listen to me test things out just a little bit. So if you, again, for the old listeners of Around the ATL, you know, we started just doing radio. So I would have, you know, my sounders, you know, and everything saved. So let's see.
Boom, boom, baby.
All right, there goes Chauncey. All right, let's see, get a little Braves in here. All right, Tomahawk Chop is going. Let's see what else we got here. Like I said, this is the first time this has worked too. What happened was I couldn't do call-in shows because the company that I used to broadcast just the radio version, for whatever reason, functionality-wise, it wasn't working. And they would, you know, extend my plan and everything for a period of time, but I couldn't use it. All right, there's the Hawk Street. We actually got a caller. Let's go ahead and bring a caller in before I get started. Good evening. Welcome to the show tonight. Go ahead and tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Hello?
Hello? Go ahead. And that person dropped. So they might not have wanted to actually talk. They were actually listening to the show through that, which you actually can do. We actually used to have people do that. Again, when we first started, because when we first started Around the ATL, we weren't doing live stream or anything like that. We were just strictly doing it radio. So we would have our callers, even our interviews. When we had Bob Rathman and Steve Holman call into the show, it was the radio version. So, so that person might not have wanted to talk. So, all right. So that being said, it looks like everything is working actually. So now the trick to this is going to be, can I start the segment correctly? So what time is it? I'm a little bit over time, but that's fine. So I'm going to go ahead and start our first segment of the show. We're going to talk Falcons at the top of the hour. So let's see if I can figure this out. And let's get it going.
Welcome to Atlanta, home of them dirty birds. Anybody hating get kicked to the curb. Any other team is absurd. Wearing black, white, silver. Ready for the blood. No one's scared of getting dirty because we came from the mud and we hungrier than ever. He rise, she rise, we rise together. Birds of a flock, more like birds of a feather. No one here to party until we get the Lombardi when we give it up. Never. Scratch it off your wish list, mark it on your calendar. 8-town players never playing with no amateurs. 80,000 strong and the fans all screaming. We get knocked down and we coming up swinging and we putting in work. All done in brotherhood, yeah, we like family and ATL motherhood. Brand new home, let the game begin. This season we back at it again. Lose. Step on at the 30, taste it, face.
All right, that sounds pretty good. So let's talk Falcons. So I think everybody is pretty comfortable with what our offense is probably going to do. I think everybody would agree with that. What I feel that most people are worried about is the defense, obviously. And the thing is, the crazy part of that is you shouldn't be to that extent because we actually had a pretty good defense last year. Last year, we had the 8th defense in passing yards allowed at 202 yards. We were 11th in total yards allowed a game, 321. But we did give up 118 rushing yards, and we only had 42 sacks. So that kind of negated some of that. But again, some of it was we couldn't score either. We gave up 21 points a game. On the technical side, if we scored decent, that wouldn't have hurt us that much, right? So there was this, again, the goods and bads of it, but really the pressure, we could not get pressure on the quarterback. So with 42 sacks last year, we don't have Bud Dupree, who has 6.5 sacks. We don't have Calais Campbell, who has 6.5 sacks. So that's 13 sacks gone. So the question would be, do we get better just because we get Grady and Troy Anderson back? Possibly. I don't know. Right? Do you have faith that the combinations of Ibiketti, Caden Ellis, Lamon, who had a great year last year, Carter, Lorenzo Carter, are all of them going to have big years or bigger years than last year? Because again, for us to really kind of secure 10 wins, I think we have to get 60 sacks this year, somehow or another, on defense. Because again, I think the offense between Kirk Cousins and a running game, Kyle Pitts having probably a career year since he actually has a quarterback again, I think that will take care of itself. But again, we actually did pretty good on third down defense. But sometimes third downs, we don't get to third downs because we can't stop the run, right? So what do y'all think? 646, let me put the number back up if people do want to call in. 646-652-4479 is the number. Man, I can't even find the number now. It's been a while since we did a call-in show, so like I said, bear with me. So if you want to talk some Falcons, Jeff Okudah is gone. So who's going to be the other corner? Who do you think? And by the way, if you don't want to call in, make sure the comment section is open. So even if you don't watch this live and you watch this after the fact and you got a comment, I do try to comment back. Again, though, I qualify this, no cursing, okay? If you call in, no cursing. And try to be respectful, okay? Just try. But who's going to be opposite of A.J. Terrell? Bates is one of the best safeties in the league, if not the best. But where's our depth at safety past Bates, But again, like I said, what do y'all think on the defensive side? Is it just going to be a matter of we have an addition because Grady and Troy Anderson are back? A lot of people might think that. Some people are not that high on Troy Anderson still, though. I like Troy Anderson, though. I like what he brings to the table. He didn't really get a chance to really show that for an entire season. So let's see what happens this year if he's healthy. Grady, of course, we know what he can do full healthy. I believe that is going to change dynamic a lot because, again, look at our defense last year without Grady. We maintained, okay, and we did improve, all right. But again, the rushing yards, that's a problem. We can't let that happen. And again, that is Grady effect right there for sure. Having another tackler in Troy Anderson could also help sideline to sideline as well. But what do y'all think? 646-652-4479. And again, if you have not subscribed to the IMTM Worldwide Radio YouTube page, please do that. Take some time, do that for me. I really would appreciate it. And share the show. If you like the content, if you've watched any episodes of Around the ATL over the years, share it with one person. Like, if you like it, if you say you like it, you've listened, you watched, do that. So it looks like my Falcons pages have not let the event be seen yet. So that's why I'm pretty sure I don't have any Falcons people in here, but that's cool. Hopefully by the time we get to the Hawks talk, hopefully we have some Atlanta fans walk in. But again, what do y'all think about the Falcons this year? And again, if you want to talk offense, we can talk offense. I'm just concentrating on defense because right now that is the main issue right now. And again, even though we had a good defense last year, it wasn't great because of those things I just mentioned. 118 rush yards and we only have 42 sacks. We can't be at the bottom of sacks again. Our best two sack players, Calais Campbell and Bud Dupree, are gone. They had 6.5 each. That's not even really a lot, but combined, that's 13 sacks gone. So again, who's going to replace at least 13 sacks? You see what I'm saying? So that's what we have to try to figure out. Let's see. I guess I need to text my co-host and see if he will be joining me tonight. What time is it? It's 10 o'clock. And it's really my fault for not doing this a lot. Well, I couldn't do it early. I was helping my mom with a lot of different things all day long. And, like I said, I was in the sun a little bit longer than I thought I would be. So I was kind of, sunburnt, as you might think. And by the time I recovered, I had just enough time to put the show together because literally I scheduled the show earlier this morning and I basically put the whole show together over the last hour and a half. and then now I'm on the air. So I didn't really have a lot of chances to like promote the show as I usually would, like a week in advance. But that's cool. So what is this? NBA 2K. So what do y'all think about Kirk Cousins? Is he going to be, quarterback that we've needed over the last 2 years since we didn't have Matt? We should have brought Matt back. I'll keep saying that. We should have had him here for a year. We would just been much better off than wasting a whole season of talent with Marcus Mariota, and definitely not with Ritter. That's just that again. It's just 2 seasons wasted, and I just hate that. We've been waiting as Falcons fans all these years, and it's just one thing after another, right? But I think this year, and more so than any other year, outside the Super Bowl year and the year after that when we made the playoffs, this is a team that should make the playoffs. This is a team that can win the division. This is a team that can win their first round matchup, whoever it might be. This is a team that could get to the NFC Championship, mostly because we do have a decent enough defense. We gave up 21 points a game plus last year. We lost a lot of winnable games last year, mostly because the quarterback, like literally the quarterback held us back last year. Defense always kept us in games though, right? Well, agree, disagree. Let me know once you do get to watch this. So I really was hoping I would have more Falcons fans tonight. I plugged a lot of pages, a lot actually. So we'll see what happens after the fact. That's cool though. So I might cut this segment a little bit short because I was really kind of depending on some people either calling in or messaging in. But since I don't have anybody and my co-host hasn't been able to get in yet, I think I'm going to go ahead and go to the next segment. And what I'll do, and I actually have this planned at the end of the show, I have it planned to where we can do a segment where we can either talk Hawks, Braves, Falcons, whatever I missed from earlier. I can recant those things or whatnot. Anything that people want to talk about, we can do that. But I guess I'm going to go ahead and go to the Braves. So let's transition. And again, if you do end up starting to watch and you want to talk Falcons, let's do that. Saw my signal go out. If you do catch this and you want to go back to talking Falcons, just send a message or call in and say, hey, Chris, I want to talk about the Falcons. Okay. Again, the call-in show, again, is for y'all. All right. And again, as I always talk about, when I make an invitation, it's an opportunity to call in and speak your piece. I can't make you do anything you don't want to do, right? I'm addressing certain things that have happened over the last couple of weeks. I'm just saying. You can't get mad at somebody for quote unquote not interacting when I invite people all the time to interact. Can't have it both ways, right? So that all being said, I am going to start Braves talk. And let's see if I can find. And again, this is me not doing this in a while. So I'm just kind of getting back into it. Oh, that's what I was doing. So let's talk some Braves talk. Let's go ahead and cue up my tomahawk chop real quick. And let's get started. Let's see. Where is it? Man, it's cool that all of this works now. I wish it worked earlier in the year, but it's all good though. It is all good. There we go. Really, I'm playing all the sounders and clips just to see if it works because I'm just in amazement at all the. Really, I have not had access to any of this for like 3 months. It's terrible. Which is why I haven't done call-in shows in such a long time. So let's talk Braves. So And actually, let's do an update. Final. Braves won tonight, 4-2 over the Marlins. They are 59-49. Austin Riley had a home run. Matt Olson had a home run. Arcia had a home run. Shocker. Charlie Morton gave us a solid 6 innings. No earned runs. Excellent. Had 6 strikeouts. And our guy Jorge is back, and he had a walk in his first game back. He led off tonight. And we'll get into that in a second. I don't want to jump ahead too much. So, the Atlanta Braves, a few weeks ago, and I even said, I was like, man, they're dead in the water. They might be toast. I mean, Strider was gone, Acuna gone, Harris out, Albies out, Max out. Who else? There's a whole bunch of people. And then you had, people not really hitting outside of Ozuna. Olsen wasn't hitting. Arcia hasn't been hitting all season, right? Ozuna made the All-Star team by default of him being best player on our team over the last couple of months, right? Chris Sale has been dominant, though. He made the All-Star team. Not for Chris Sale, I don't know where we would be. Like, scratch like 11, 12 wins off our record, right? Lopez also has pitched very well. I think he has 7 wins. But we were playing so bad. The Mets came out of the depths, and we were below the Mets, right? Things have changed, though. Before tonight's game, the Braves were 6.5 games back in the division. And with tonight's win, I don't know if the Mets played or not. I didn't look to see. I didn't have a chance. Let's see. I can check real quick. Let's see. Schedule. The Mets did not play tonight. So the Braves officially are 6 games behind now. So the Braves have made a dent, okay? They're in striking distance. It is officially August. So your opinion, again, 646-652-4479 is the call-in number, or you can message on the comment section on the YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe, IMT and Worldwide Radio. Do you believe that the Braves have a chance? Do you believe that the Braves over August and September can get through 6-game deficit, basically, get the division lead and keep it going? Or do you even feel that the division is necessary for them to make the playoffs? And again, you got to look at it from the standpoint now the Mets are in play, and you got to look at the rest of the National League, how things can fall into place or not fall into place. And the best way to solidify that you're going to make the playoffs, no matter what the record is winning the division. Okay. And for me, and I mentioned this on Twitter, on Intellect ATL to somebody, and somebody said, yeah, we don't really got to win the division. I'm like, yeah, I know, but I want to win it just because of spite. I don't want Philly to win the division ever. I don't. Okay. And we really need to do things where we can beat Philly in the playoffs for once. Again, especially last year of all seasons, with one of the best offenses the Braves have ever had, it was a waste. It was a waste, basically. So with this season being awful on offense and not being able to score a run to save our lives, and basically kind of treading water, so to speak, yeah, we're 10 games over 500, but we need to be better as opposed to all the other teams that are in the National League as well. We don't want one of these other teams in the other divisions to, basically overtake us. Like, for instance, just looking at the standings, Phillies have 65 wins. Brewers have 61. Dodgers have 63, right? So the Braves with 59, they're right, they're not that far away. But, again, the Mets are right behind the Braves. They're 2 games behind them. The St. Louis Cardinals are 56 and 52, okay? The Padres are 59 and 51, okay? So they're kind of right there with the Braves as well. So, remember how things are now. A couple extra teams can get in, but again, win the division, you're in for sure. That's what I say, all right? But what do you think? Again, we've had a disaster of a first half of the season, just the injuries alone. And again, the Braves have had some major injuries over the last few years, where it's amazing that we even get through seasons at a certain point. But this year it was just you have Raleigh that wasn't really hitting. I mean, really, our whole team. Like I forget what the average was. I didn't get a chance to look that up. Our average was really low, right? And all the players that had such great seasons last year, like Garcia, right, like Raleigh, and a whole bunch of others, it just wasn't happening this year at all. And like I said, with the people being out like Albies, like Harris, that just doubled down on we don't have the ability to compete like we used to just because. And like I said, you didn't see Max, you couldn't have seen Max going down for this little bit of period of time. Fortunately, like I said, Chris Sale has been a baller, really helped out. That's like our biggest move in 5 years right there. Like if we can get this Chris Sale for the next couple of years, yeah, we're definitely in contention. But right now, we're still on the outside looking in, technically, because like I said, the Mets are right there. Like literally, the Mets were above us for a minute. That should mess people up right there in their head, right? But where do you think the Braves will fall come September? Getting ready to get into the playoffs. Can we beat Philly? Because one way or the other, we're going to have to probably play them and beat them to advance, right? So will we be good enough? I don't know if we are right now. Yes, we did get Soler back, and like I said, I think that's a huge move. It is dependent on him playing well, though. Of course, he's going to have to hit for us, right? For sure. Like, let me see. At this point of the season, I believe. Let me go back to the game, and he just had a walk tonight. So again, it was his first game back as a Brave. I'm going the wrong way here. What happened? August 1st. I'm trying to find. There we go. He has so far, is that my co-host? No. So far, he has 16 home runs, I believe, this season. Wow, they're making it difficult. I'm trying to pull this up on the fly, and they're not letting me do it. Let's do this. MLB should hook me up. Here, oh, wow. So he has 12 home runs right now. So, but when it counts, he'll be there, right? So that's what we'll look at as far as that long term. So again, what's your expectation of the Braves? If you're a Braves fan, you can comment in the comment section. You want to call in 646-652-4479. Again, since I did not get a chance to really promote the show, I don't think I'm going to get a lot of people to participate tonight, but I would love for you to. And again, if I'm on a segment, but you want to talk about a different topic, let me know, and I can go back to it. I already talked some Falcons at the beginning of the show, talking Braves. I'm going to take a little bit of a break right now, and then when I come back, we're going to talk some UGA football for a little bit. And again, I'm kind of a little bit early because again, I don't have what I thought I was going to have tonight, so I am moving a little bit quicker than normal. And like I said, I can always backtrack, so I got plenty of time. So let's take a break. Let's see. Now this is going to be interesting. I have it to where now that my radio works, I could. Let's see if I can play something here. Let's see. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a little bit of a break, and when I come back, we'll talk some UGA and what's going on with the Bulldogs. But in the meantime, again, share the show with someone. I would love some participation tonight on a unpromoted show. But this is Chris on IMTN Worldwide Radio. 646-652-4479 is the number. We'll be right back.
You are listening to Around the ATL with Chris and Jordan. We'll be right back with more Atlanta Sports Talk.
time to turn the page. Was kicking it with some wise cats, that's what they told me. Take this as a back, don't wanna remind them of the old me. But yeah, I'm not ashamed of my past, it made me better. And I'ma keep on learning as I read it, God loves me. I won't be searched for the whole. I won't be real. How you feeling? I know I'm crazy.
And we are back. That was artist C. Ross with the song Under Construction. I had to switch songs because I haven't played any of the bumper music in a long time, and I forgot that some of it is well old. And again, because I haven't done this in a while, I didn't get to test the show or anything. I don't know how stuff sounds. So when I heard it, I was like, I don't like that. Let me switch to something a little bit better. And hopefully you were able to hear it on the YouTube channel as well. Again, I'm doing both the radio and the YouTube versions of Around the ATL simultaneously. Haven't done this in a while, so I'm gonna get there in a second. 646-652-4479 is the number. By the way, I have not changed the intro of the show yet as far as visuals. I do plan to do that. There's a picture of a particular quarterback that is no longer here. I have to change that out, and certain other players. So I know if you did watch the intro earlier and you had a question on that, yeah, I am working on that as well. And if you if you happen to know an artist that would like to submit some bumper music for the show in between breaks, definitely contact me on Instagram, IMTN Worldwide Radio, and let me know. That reminds me, for the first time, I do have the Instagram page synced up. So let's go visit over there real quick just to make sure I don't have anybody, because I tested this a couple of weeks ago and I forgot, and I saw that people had been commenting. So tonight I made it a point to make sure I switch back and forth every now and again. Again, though, because I didn't, promote or advertise this show tonight, I don't have anybody over there either, unfortunately, but at least I remember. So let's talk UGA. Now, this is going to be a short segment, but what are your thoughts in regards? Actually, let me backtrack. I posted on Twitter earlier, Intellect ATL, when I saw Kirby Smart basically at his presser basically announced that, Ra Thomas, I believe, Ra Thomas is no longer with the team. So I asked the question in general, what makes it to where a player who is in college on a major college team decides to not have enough discipline to stay on a team? There are rules and regulations to everything. Nobody's obligated to put you on a team, especially in college, because in college, especially if it's a situation where you're signing the dotted line because they're actually going to pay your way through school, aka a scholarship. No one is obligated to offer you a scholarship. And if you walk on and you try to get through on the practice end and you win a spot, you get a spot. You got to beat a lot of other people out. If you did all of that work to make that happen, what happens after that to where you would do anything to risk you not being on the team anymore? How do people in their mind's eye think it's going to turn out? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, especially nowadays, maybe back in the day, you had a lot more leeway, a lot of other stuff. But see, now things are regulated and now you have NIL. There's money involved now, right? So how do you have the audacity really to put people under that kind of pressure to be like, I just don't get it. I wish somebody would explain it to me, because if I was a young man who had opportunity to play for a team that has won the national championship 2 out of the last 3 seasons, back to back, that is, and have an opportunity to win for a long time, you're always on a national championship contender. Like, where do you go from there? You see what I'm saying? Because again, when you get kicked off a team, your rep is tarnished. And yeah, another team might pick you up, but are they going to be a Power 5 team? Or I don't know, is it called Power 5 anymore? I'm kind of behind on my college football right now. But will another team actually pick you up? And if they don't, you got to go to another sub level and then try to get to the NFL if that's your goal. Again, how do you put yourself in that kind of jeopardy to where if your goal is to get to the NFL and one of the best ways to do that is to play on a college team like the Georgia Bulldogs? Why would you ever put yourself in a position? Like, how do you just not have enough self-control? So again, Kirby Smart made the announcement that Ra Thomas is no longer with the team. But again, over the last couple of years, there's been, incidents. I'll just say it like that. And it's not just UGA, obviously, with other schools as well. But I'm talking, we talk Atlanta and Georgia sports. I'm talking Georgia right now. So, what do you think? 646-652-4479 is the number. Just checking again, make sure I don't have any callers. That's another topic that we can, chop it up on in a bit. So now that we've done that, I want to, you know what I forgot to do? Let's see if let me do that first. I forgot to do it. Like I said, it's been a while since I've had access to all of my radio functionality. So I'm kind of, happy that I have it, but I forget about some of it. So since I missed it, let's go ahead and do this first. So again, if you've never listened to Around the ATL before, we do segmented spots on our show where we're talking about different teams and everything. And I have themes for all the teams as well as, special side effects or sound effects, I should say, for different things. Again, you can go back, by the way, on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Odyssey, Apple Music, Spreaker, Blog Talk Radio, which is the original broadcast station. And you can listen to all the episodes since 2018, basically. Okay, go check it out. But definitely subscribe to the IFTM Worldwide YouTube channel. Help me out. There you go. That would be perfect. There you go, right there. So my next segment, and again, I'm just going through segments and I can come back if I get participation. This season was supposed to be a big season for a particular team. And it's been disappointing, to say the least. Who am I talking about? I'm talking about the Atlanta Dream. So do I want to play the intro that I have for them? I think I'll wait till next time to do that. I might have to find a new one. But the Atlanta Dream has been in the WNBA for a minute. And the last couple of years, we've had a lot of turmoil. You know, we had a lot of player personnel things going on, new coaches and things of that nature. But this year was supposed to be a big year, a bigger year. Last year was better for sure. We competed. But this year, it looks like we've gone backwards. And I know Ron Howard was hurt, and that kind of played a lot into it because you saw when she was off the court, we could not score. Like, it was depressing. Okay, it was bad. Okay. However, over the last couple of games, over a period of time, Alicia Gray definitely has stepped up. You saw she made All-Star team, averaging 15 points a game. Okay. And again, for those who don't know, we talk about all Atlanta sports. So again, if you're a fan of the Atlanta Dream, tune into the show and talk some Dream. Okay. We've had Angel McCautry on the show when we first started. We've had Nikki Collin, who was WNBA Coach of the Year, on the show. We had the president of the Atlanta Dream on the show when we first started. Back to back to back. Okay. So again, if you are a fan of the Atlanta Dream, please call into the show or listen to the show, watch the show, and please share it with someone. Again, that's why I decided to do a show kind of impromptu, just to kind of start the month off, August 1st and all that, just to kind of remind people that we're still alive. It's kind of difficult, but again, circumstances beyond control prevents you from doing things like you want to, but it doesn't stop you altogether, right? So here I am. But right now, the Dream are 7-17. Bad. They're 13 and a half games behind the Liberty. They've only lost 4 games the whole season. That's bad, right? It's going to be, I don't really know how they can really salvage this season. Of course, right now, Ryan Howard is still in Paris for the Olympics and everything. But we just need more. I mean, we just don't have enough people that can score when it comes down to it. You know, it's just bad. So again, I just wanted to kind of bring them up, and I got 15 minutes left in this hour. I just wanted to bring that up just because, like I said, if you catch the show a little bit and you're a Dream fan, tell somebody else who's a Dream fan and tell them to tune into the show, because we talk the Atlanta Dream. We've been doing it for years now. Okay, we do it a whole lot more than certain other people. Okay. Especially in Atlanta. I got to stress that a little bit. I didn't know I was this early in the segment. So again, the Atlanta Dream, what can they do? Hopefully they can do something soon, because we need them. We need all of our Atlanta teams to do better. And one of many reasons that I wanted to start around the ATL from years ago is that I wanted to be able to actually hear someone talk about Atlanta sports and not everything else. I don't want to tune into a station that's supposed to be the hometown station and then all of a sudden be listening to something about Texas or New England or the Patriots. You know what I'm saying? The Celtics. I don't want to hear all that. I don't want to hear CBS radio. You see what I'm saying? It should be all Atlanta sports, all Georgia sports. When we were regular, we also started doing high school sports as well. So if you're a high school alumni somewhere and your team is the best of the best of the best, let us know about it. Okay. So just to let you know about that. But again, we love talking about Atlanta and Georgia sports. Again, we talk seasonal basketball in college as well. We haven't really done college baseball. We really haven't seen enough people to have interest along those lines just yet, but if we do, we'll start picking it up. Because again, it's a 2-hour show, so sometimes it's difficult to fit everything in a 2-hour show. We managed to do it. If you go back and listen, it's amazing sometimes how we got all the information in that we did, but go check it out. So that being said, let's go back to the Falcons a little bit. So I do have the depth chart currently, both offense and defense. So on offense, we're looking at Drake London. We're looking at Darnell Mooney. We're looking at Rondell Moore. We're looking at Kyle Pitts, obviously. On that second level, As far as wideouts, we're looking at Kerry Washington, Kadero Hodge, Charlie Warner, as far as another tight end. And don't forget Ray McLeod. Man, Ray better have a big season just because his name is Ray, right? He has to have a big season, right? We have some other wide receivers: Chris Blair, Austin Mack, Josh Ali, and another tight end, Ross Dwelly, John Fitzpatrick, and Austin Stogner. That's a rookie. So whether or not he'll make the team, we'll find out. Of course, our offensive line: Jake Matthews, Matthew Bergeron, Drew Dahlman, Chris Lindstrom, Caleb McGarry. Second level: Kyle Hinton, Storm Norton, Ryan Nuzell, Javon Gwynn, and Barry Wesley. So is that second leg a little bit stronger to make sure that if we have any injuries, we won't miss a beat? We're going to find out. Our offensive line did play pretty decent last year, for the most part. Quarterback, of course, got Kirk Cousins. Did I spell his name wrong? I think I spelled his name wrong. Let me see. Sure did. Let's edit that real quick. I told you I was tired today. But see, guess what? When I make a mistake, I fix it. I just don't, let it go, right? And in fact, let me switch this around. I'm not talking Dream anymore. I'm talking Falcons again. Who's our backup? Michael Penix Jr. And at this point, yeah, it looks like Michael might actually have. Well, he hasn't played preseason yet. We know what Tyler Heineke can do, though, right? But I have a feeling that Michael Penix Jr. might win the number 2 position. I just have a feeling, just from what I've seen so far. And I wish I was up there in Atlanta to go watch myself, but I don't live in Atlanta anymore, and it's just hard for me to get up there. At running back, we got Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier. They might, you know what? They need to get 1,000 yards apiece in rushing this year. Doggone it. We just need to have like a 6,000-yard offense. Three players getting 1,000 yards, and Bijan and Tyler get 1,000 yards each on rushing. We just need to dominate. Jace McCallum, running back, rookie. Avery Williams is still with the team. Now on defense, you got Zach Harrison, Imada, Grady, of course, is back. You got James Smith-Williams. Got Caden Ellis, Troy Anderson, Lorenzo Carter, Mike Hughes, Richie Grant, J.C. Bates, A.J. Terrell, and D. Offer. And on the second level, you got a couple of rookies: Brandon Dorless, Rook, J.D. Bertrand, Braylon Trice, along with Nate Landman, Arnold Ibiketti. Taquan Graham is still here. Of course, you got Clark Phillips, DeMarco Helms. I really like DeMarco. Michael Abernathy, Kevin King, and Antonio Hamilton Sr. A few others. You got Kentavious Street, who is back. We know who he is. D'Angelo Malone, Natron Brooks. I'm trying to look at some other familiar names. That's about it. Of course, you got some other rookies: Zion Loeb, Trey Valvel, and Jaden Price. Special teams, of course, you got Bradley Pinion, Young Ho Koo, Liam McCullough. Avery, of course, punt returner. Ray is the kick returner. I expect to see something out of Ray again as that kick returner, especially with the new rules and everything. So what do you think about the depth chart of the Atlanta Falcons? 6'4", 6'5", 244, 79 is the number. Let me switch back up here. Do you think the Falcons can win 10 games? Should that be the expectation? After the last 2 seasons of losing 10, when we had no business losing 10, we had opportunities in both of those seasons to actually at least be a 9-win team. And we know that because I went over it in detail after every game. But with what we know we have on offense, we have a legit quarterback who can make all the throws. We have wideouts that can make all the catches. We have one of the best tight ends in the NFL on our team. He was just hiding because of the 2 years of just bafflement, okay? And then again, we have running backs who can really do everything. So our offense should be on point. I would say our offense has the capability of scoring 30 points a game easy. I shouldn't say easy, but really we should score 30 points a game. So if we do exactly what we did on defense last year and give up 21 points a game, the Falcons should win 10 games, right? It's math. Math is mathing, right? So what do y'all think though? And again, on the side of how many sacks we can get, do you think the return of Grady Jarrett and Troy Anderson will be enough to fix things to where other people will get a little bit more opportunities because Grady is back, right? Will we get better on the rushing side of things, giving up rushing yards because Troy Anderson and Grady Jarrett are back? You're just deeper now as a team. Will that help as far as that goes? Possibly, right? So those are things to think about as far as that goes. I just heard a beep. Let me see what that beep is. Ha. So this is the first hour. And again, I do a 2-hour show. Now, we have been talking about doing 3 hours at a certain point, but like I said, basically, and I guess I can do this. I got time. So the circumstances of us not being regular like we have been over the years, where we were doing once a week, every week for months on end, years on end, was circumstances with my health and then my co-host work schedule. My health was terrible. At a certain point last year, I couldn't do shows at all. Early this year, I decided to try to start doing some shows, but it still was pretty difficult. And then again, with my co-host work schedule, it was just difficult as well. That's when I started doing Around the ATL side notes as like a go-between in between our regular show. All right. And that's when I started doing all the topics. So when you see, if you go and subscribe to IMT and Worldwide Radio on YouTube, hopefully you do that, you'll see the shows like Rosters Matter or What's the Point, where I talk about, does winning a game even matter to anybody anymore, right? And other shows where I'm talking about players, I'm talking about systems, I'm talking about specific articles that have been written, talking about specific things, okay? So go check those out. But then again, like I said, I've also done some reviews of the 2023 season. The next game I'm working on is actually the Dallas Mavericks, game 77. That game, the Dallas Mavericks hit 18 threes. Okay, I'll talk about this a little bit when I go into the Hawks segment. But hopefully people will kind of pick back up as I kind of get back into the flow. Like I said, it's been a while since I've done a 2-hour show of any kind. So, you know, I'm kind of rusty, I admit it. Plus, like I said, my brain has a lot of I'm sunburnt. I was in the sun a little bit. I was in the sun a lot today. Let's just put it like that. So like I said, I was able to get the show put together really last minute, but it's up, right? So that being said, the next hour, we're going to talk Hawks. We're going to talk Atlanta United. We're going to talk Hawks and Atlanta United, but mostly Hawks. And then we can also talk a little bit more Falcons if you want to talk Falcons, if you do chime in. We're trying to switch some stuff around here. I shouldn't worry about it, but I'm trying to be detailed tonight, right? So let's see if I can get this right. There we go. Okay. So again, top of the next hour, 11 o'clock hour, we're going to start talking Hawks. So if you're an Atlanta Hawks fan, it'll be time for you to tune in. And if you really want to talk, it's the opportunity to talk to me directly. Ask questions, respectfully though. So that being said, let me go ahead and get everything ready to go. But in the meantime, make sure you subscribe. IMTN Worldwide Radio. Show is open. Show is live. We're gonna have some fun next hour. But in the meantime, I'm gonna play a little something. Let's see if I can get this to work. It's been a while since I played any of this music, so I can't remember all of it all of a sudden now. So it's kind of crazy, but I'm gonna pick something real quick. Hopefully y'all be able to enjoy it. This is Chris on IMTN Worldwide Radio on Around the ATL. I can't even get my sounders right. What's going on, everybody? This is Chris on IMTN Worldwide Radio, and this is Around the ATL. It is August 1st, a new month. 646-652-4479 is the number. See, I'm starting to get back into the swing of things all of a sudden. There you go. Second hour, I got my second win. So tonight we are doing our first 2-hour show in a long time, okay? A full show. And again, if you've never watched or listened to Around the ATL, because the radio version is up and running, we talk Atlanta sports and sports in the state of Georgia. So we talk Hawks, Falcons, Braves, Atlanta Dream, Atlanta United, Atlanta Vibe, the volleyball team, if you didn't know. We talk college sports, UGA, Georgia Tech every blue moon, Georgia State, Clark, Albany State, everything in Georgia, okay? So we've been around for a long time. We've had some great shows over a period of time. We've had some great interviews, Bob Rathman, Steve Holman, Jerome Durinovich, whole bunch of people, Dominique Wilkins, John Collins has been on the show, and a myriad of other people. So if you want to listen to past episodes, the radio version, Spotify, iHeartRadio, main ones, just type in Around the ATL. And of course, if you want to watch the live stream versions that's been around for a couple of years now, go to IMTN Worldwide Radio on YouTube, and I'll post that real quick here. There it is. And hit subscribe. There you go. And then share it with one other person. Do that for me. Could y'all do that? Just a little favor. Now, again, my brain is kind of melted a little bit. I've been in the sun a little bit, helping my mom out and about. And so I didn't, even though I scheduled the show this morning, just because I wanted to schedule it, didn't know if I was going to be able to do a show. I wasn't able to actually put the show together until about an hour and a half before I started the show at 10. So I'm doing pretty decent for doing a last minute show, but I didn't get to really promote it. So I'm not getting a lot of, listeners so far. I did have one caller, but I think they were kind of shy, didn't want to actually talk. And I haven't really had a lot of people viewing the show. And I just know that's just because, you got admins, sometimes they're not available to approve stuff or whatever and things of that nature. But I did post the show separately as well. This is why I do that. Because I do the event section of a whole bunch of Facebook pages, and I actually post in the page so people can see it and have an invitation to say if they want to talk some Atlanta sports, they have an opportunity to call into the show or talk directly to me. They can comment right there. I'll answer them back. There's an opportunity if anybody has a discussion point, they can discuss it, right? That's how that works, right? But I can't make anybody respond. And I'm saying that in general, I'm not talking to most of y'all, but I'm just in regards to when people want to try to, what's the word I'm looking for here? Initiate something. I'm always available. And then I'm not always available. But when I'm available, I'm available. Come on in, right? But people can't get mad if somebody's not available. If I'm out of town or if I'm sick or if I'm taking care of somebody in my family, I'm not going to be online all the time, right? That's anybody. You, me, anybody, right? But when you put out an invitation, if a person doesn't at that point in time want to take that invitation to, have a conversation, well, I just can't do anything about that. I'm repeating that specifically for a reason, because again, I just didn't like the inference from what I was seeing online, which is why, like I said, for me, I'm a documentation person. If you're going to have a discussion, also you need some documentation. Can't just be saying stuff and then not be able to back it up. So let's talk Hawks, because that's actually the point of this discussion, is backing it up just a little bit. So our Hawks organization has made some changes this year, obviously, a whole bunch of them. And we have some new people here. But here's the deal. Are those people going to do us any good? That's the question, right? So I didn't put all these people in yet. I guess I didn't. So we're going to skip over some of that. So the Hawk season, here's some facts of the Hawk season, right? Whether or not you like facts or not. Now, again, some people don't like realism. People like to live in the matrix, and I understand that. I understand being in denial about certain things. For certain things, you can't get around, okay? So here's a few of those things. So The Atlanta Hawks lost over 21 games last year by 7 points or less. You know how you figure that out? You go through each game of the season and you check the score and you count and you subtract and say, here's the difference of this game right here. And then you do that for every game and see how many you have. That's called doing research, okay? We lost over 21. There might be a couple more, but we for sure, I stopped at 21. Let's say it like that, okay? The Atlanta Hawks scored 118 points a game last year. We gave up 120. So right there, your math is already off right there, right? The Hawks were 26 in blocks last year, 28th in fast break points given up, 25th in points in the paint given up. We averaged giving up 53 points in the paint each game. 53. That's not good. There's nothing positive about that. Or is it? I don't know. Let me know. 646-652-4479 is the number. Tell me different. Do y'all think that's good? Do you think any of what I just said is good? We gave up 14 threes each game. 14. Multiply that out. Let's do that real quick. What's my calculator? 14. 14. Damn. That's 42 points on threes. That's 42 points. You hear what I just said there? We give up 120 points and 42 of them are threes? That's abhorrent. You got to look at it just like that. Now, you could offset that if you weren't giving up 53 points in the paint each game, but that's a whole nother story. So there's those facts right there, okay? 642, let's make sure I don't have any callers before I keep going. Got to switch screens. Okay. So 646-652-4479. I'm going to get the number right eventually. I've had that number for such a long time. You think I would know it by heart. But again, if you're not doing something on a regular basis, you get rusty, right? The Hawks missed 5 main players last year to injury. We did not have a good bench last year. We were not a deep team overall. Our team from 2023 from 2022 was not as good for a couple of reasons. I mentioned those before. You can go back on the other shows and you can see what I say about that. But we missed Trae Young, Saddiq Bey, Jalen Johnson, Okongwu, and Hunter at certain points of this season. Hunter missed 25 games this year. But there was a stretch where we were missing Trae Young and Saddiq Bey and Jalen Johnson and Okongwu all at the same time. We were not better with 4 players being out. Like 3 of those were starters. We were not a better team like that. Shooting guards hit 30 points a game on the Hawks last year. Small forwards, 27 a game. That is not good by any stretch of the imagination when we're supposed to have wings to stop that. Slow it down a little bit. Again, if we had just a little bit of help in that Boston series, we beat Boston straight up last year. Again, Trae Young almost single-handedly beat Boston. DJ was doing his job scoring until game 5 because he had gotten suspended, and game 6 because he had a bad game, game 6. It was not good. Well, scoring-wise, he only had 14. If he had double that, we might have beat them because we only lost that game by 8 points. Okay, go look. But these things that I mentioned are not positives, okay? Now, giving up 120 points a game and 14 threes a game and the fast break points and the points in the paint and all this, could something have been done to curb any of that? Maybe. Now, again, if you watch any of my reviews of the 2023 season of the 6 teams that I've reviewed so far, you know the things that I talk about. Switching, rotations, getting back on defense, over-helping, blocking out your man, fighting through screens, communication, right? We don't do any of those things, all right? So did the moves that we have made, because again, some people don't even think we really made any moves. We haven't done anything to make this team a positive, you know, and I mentioned this in a tweet the other day, and I have some people who look like they are going to try to be a little bit more positive after I said what I said. That's good. because we need to. But despite all that, and I'm gonna mention this real quick. I didn't like what we did at the number 1 pick initially, and I have a show called Not a Need to prove that. I was not happy. I did a whole show about it. But after the fact, I thought about things and I looked at it from just the actual, logical surface of things. And I say, you know what? This could do something for our team, provide something for our team that we were not having before, or we did not have before. And I'm talking about all the moves we've made. So let's talk about some of those moves. Now, again, remember, we had 9 roster spots last year that averaged 6 points or less last year. With our team not playing no defense, we could not afford that. Here's how you know that. The Boston Celtics also had 9 players on their roster average 6 points or less, but they play better defense. They win more. We had 2 players on our team average 20 points or more on our team. Boston and other teams have a few more than that, don't they? Right? Or players that can get you 15, 16, 17 a game, right? Now, this season, we're going to see how that adjusts, but let's get into the defensive part of it. So, Dyson Daniels, some people don't like Dyson Daniels. They don't want to give him a chance. He's just going to be 21 years old this year in his 3rd NBA season. He had 1.5 steals last year, though, off the bench. He wants to play some defense, and you got to want to play defense. And that's one of the main things I've been talking about is that you got to want to play defense. It has to be in you to do that. That's your job. You got to want to do that, especially if you're a wing player, okay? Dyson Daniels is 6'8". Our team has been an average height of 6'5" for way too long. So all of a sudden have a guard at 6'8" would do wonders for us, okay? So that's a couple of things. Now, with that being said, rebounding, you should help us on rebounding a little bit. Block shots, we were 26 in block shots. 26. We need another person. We got to get some other people to block some shots. It ain't Hunter. If it ain't going to be Hunter, who? Is it supposed to be Trae Young? He's supposed to be 2 blocks a game? I don't think so. So we need some other people to block some shots. He could do that at 6'8" with his wingspan. Help defense. We are a team that don't know how to do it. We refuse to do it. I've shown you film to show that. He'd be a lot better at help defense than others. Okay? Rotations. Fighting through screens. All of those things are going to matter. And I'm going to show you some tape in a second. Actually, let's go ahead and do that now. Dyson Daniels. Let me find him. There we go. I didn't know that didn't have any sound. So what did you see there? Now, before you get started, oh, well, Hunter played Luka pretty good. Luka plays twice a year against the Hawks. So let's not bring up Hunter playing him decent when he doesn't. And then those are the times he even plays because, Luka don't play against the Hawks that often, right? He sure did score 73 points on us, though, in January. I hadn't gotten to that game yet, but come on. But anyway, what did you notice about Dyson Daniels? One, he beats you to your spot. He moves his feet. He contests all shots. He knows what he's doing out there, and he wants to do it. He does that with everybody, not just one player in the league. Okay? So if you add that element in your starting lineup, your team is better by default right there, just one player. Okay? So what else did we do in the offseason? So besides Dyson Daniels, we also got Larry Nance Jr. Now, he's been playing backup center the last, I guess, year or so. He's capable of doing that. But before I get to him, let's talk about Keaton Wallace a little bit. He averaged 1.8 steals in G League last year. That's 2 steals a game, basically. That means he's on the ball. So him getting a 2-way contract for the time that he's up here, he's not going to be an empty roster spot because he can actually play some defense. But also, he can score, too. He averaged 14 points a game as well. So unlike Trent Forrest, who didn't want to shoot and couldn't really do a whole heck of a lot of other stuff, the times that you got Keaton Wallace on your bench, it's going to help you out a little bit. Again, our bench was terrible last year. We had no depth. That had to be addressed. Okay? What else happened in the offseason? You also got a couple of other players, David Roddy and Dominic Barlow. Now, those two are kind of recent. But besides that, let me make sure I mention it. We did re-sign Seth. He has a 2-way contract. We brought Vitt back. And we also have Cody Zeller as well. But let's talk about David Roddy and Dominic Barlow. So David Roddy, his nickname is Big Body Roddy. So is that going to be our guy to where when stuff goes down, he's going to step up and do something back? Okay. Besides what he can do on the court. What can he do on the court? Let's watch.
Kennard and David Roddy getting his first look tonight for the Grizzlies. Roddy, a catch and shoot 3. It's in.
You already know the jump shooting prowess that he has.
Bain to a cutting Roddy, lays it in.
When she gave me that nice grandma hug, brought me in tight, partner. Felt good about it.
Roddy got to the cup and laid it in again for
here in this second half.
10 to shoot for Bain. Roddy drives the gap, got to the rim and finished, and a foul.
Well, I thought he did a good job of, when we talk about those switches, on every switch, he got himself into the paint that forced the Grizzlies defense to condense.
Roddy, backhanded layup attempt by Green is off. Bain thought about the walk-up 3. Roddy, 4-3!
Myriad of players that are able to put the ball on the floor and get to the basket for the Mavericks.
Roddy for 3. Yes! Explode. Got to get back defensively. Oh, Hardaway lost it. Roddy on the takeaway. Roddy lays it up and in. Tyus against Kleba. Roddy a corner 3. It's in again. 5 to shoot. Jaren. Roddy an offensive rebound. Yes!
He had to make a comeback. Listen to these fans.
I said Dallas had to win again.
Isn't it time for Atlanta to have another Roddy in the city? So what did you think of his take there? So big body Roddy, one thing he can do, he can put a body on you. You know that Charles Barkley, you know, when you put your body. I'm gonna miss TNT, man. But anyway, he has strength, which means if he gets anybody smaller than him, he can post up. He also can block out. He can help on rebounding. On offense, he looks like he likes to go to the basket a lot. We don't have enough of that. We only got one or two players, well, 2 players last year who could do that a lot. That's Trey and DJ for the most part, but also Jalen Johnson. But Jalen couldn't do it as much because he had that one person always in the paint. We'll get into that a little bit. But Roddy also looks like he hit a spot-up jumper. Okay? So again, if he's getting any kind of time on the floor, or if we have an injury, we don't lose that much like you would with Wesley Matthews out there. Okay. Like, think about that. Like, again, we no longer have, I think I had this written down. We no longer have Bruno, Bay, Sadiq Bay, and unfortunately, Sadiq Bay couldn't play no defense either. He rebounded for his position, but he could not stop nobody. So if his shot ain't going in, it's bad. It's bad out there. Bruno is bad on defense. He can't stop nobody. Again, sorry, DJ wasn't playing no defense last year. Whatever the excuse is, he wasn't playing it. AJ wasn't good at defense last year. Wesley Matthews, he wasn't stopping people. He had his moments, but he wasn't no stopper by any stretch of the imagination. Okay. So all of those people not being on the team by default will make our team a little bit better on defense. It will. Now, another player that I want to talk about is Dominic Barlow player. Off the bench, he could provide some energy, boards, but more important, he could switch out on those bigs where someone like Clint he just doesn't want to go out there. He thinks he's the only big in the league that can't hit a three. Well, that's just not true, and all of us know it. But why does he stand in the paint and let them hit the three? Now, again, if you've watched any of my shows recently, the 6 games I've shown you that a lot. Okay. So I'm gonna do that at the end. I'll probably will show a couple just to show you that I'm not making it up. It actually happened. But let's look at Dominic Barlow's tape a little bit. I don't know if I'm gonna let the whole thing play, but I'm gonna play a little bit.
Barlow spins in the paint. Nice runner. McCoy finds Barlow rolling to the basket. Nice reverse use the rim for protection. Serge Jabari Rice finds Sissoko straight away. Uses the Barlow screen. Rice gets it back to Sissoko. He tries 3. Offensive board by Barlow, and he gets the follow.
How about that vertical there by Dominic Barlow?
Final minute of the first half. Pass inside, Barlow just his shot and gets the bucket.
And again, the Spurs looking to take their first lead since the first quarter. Only 3 lead changes so far in this game. It's been Orlando pretty much leading the way for the most of it.
Barlow will give the Spurs the lead. McCoy shifts gears to the mid-post. Barlow fakes the handoff and takes it to the paint. Backs down against Walker, and the hook left short. He gets his own miss. Barlow the post up, isolated on the left side. At the block, the power move, the layup is smooth. Dom Barlow, no foul on the contact, and he says, excuse me while I take this open lane to the rim. Here on the right side, Barlow has a chance to work against Morales. Another post up into the paint. Shot off the glass and in. Dominic Barlow, 27 points. Spurs were down 1 at the half, and they're up by 12. As you mentioned, big thanks to Barlow and his 27 points. Ray, grab and go into the front court. Loses the handle, is able to tap to Rice. Barlow, isolated on the right side. They left him open for 3, and he makes him pay.
Now, I'm not concerned about whether or not he can hit threes or not, but what I look at is he has touch. He finishes at the rim, and if he does get an offensive rebound, you know what he can do? He can put it back in. Offensive rebounds don't mean nothing if you can't put it back in. You got to get those points. You're right there. It matters. So that's a difference maker on that end. But on the other side, he's quick, which means he can handle if we have a big on big screen of some sort, he'll go out and guard the shooter. Or if it's the guard, he can go out and guard that shooter so he doesn't have a wide open shot. We give up too many wide open shots. Also on help defense on those second chance points, the points in the paint, because people are ball watching or whatever, I don't think he'll be that person. If anything, he can still recover. So that gives you another player that can do that, which we did not have last year. And again, it's always going to be a matter of how they use everybody, starting lineup off the bench and things of that nature. But that's another player that can change things for you on the dynamic of defense. So if you watch that, if you just now tuning in, I just played some Dyson Daniels, Dominic Barlow, and David Roddy footage. If you missed it, go watch it. So here's what I think the Hawks should do as far as starting lineup. So Trey, Dyson Daniels at shooting guard, Zach Richashar at small forward, because Hunter said he wants to be off the bench. That's fine. Jalen Johnson at power forward, and Okongwu should start. This has to be the year. Can't fool around anymore. I don't care about what people say. Number one, Okongwu can play post defense, and he's shown that. He's proven that. We got the tape. I can prove that. He can rebound. Every time he's gotten actual starting minutes, he's scored points, and he's 17, 18 points, 10 rebounds, 12 rebounds. Okay. He can block shots. He can make rotations. He can test shots. He can hit an open three. He can hit an open jumper. He can hit free throws. He finishes at the rim 73%. Okay. So it's time for Okongwu to play. Now, yes, he's going to have some mismatches if you do have the 7'4" guy who wants to shoot a jumper. He can't defend that. He can get in their face, but he can't like block their shot or nothing because they're just tall. That's fine, because that's not going to always happen. They're not always going to, like, sometimes when you go and defend, that's enough. That to contest is sometimes enough where they're uncomfortable enough that they won't put it up. You never know. But at least he's there. But if they try to post him up, again, he stopped Cat, he stopped Giannis, he stops all those players. He stops Embiid. He plays well against all those bigs. Okay? So that should be your starting lineup. That gives you also an opportunity for you to have some length and speed in regards to making rotations happen, fighting through screens, and help defense if somebody does get beat at the top, whoever that might be, and who you think it is all the time. I got the tape to show it. Y'all don't want to watch it, but that's fine. But that's going to help. That's going to change your dynamic right there. Points in the paint is going to change with that length. Fast break points will even change. Okay. 14 threes, that shouldn't happen as much because you'll have somebody go out and defend the three-point shooter. They got to do something else now. They're not going to get that wide open three. So here's where the bench comes into play. Kobe starts at point guard. Bogey comes off the bench. Hunter comes off the bench. Then you're going to have either Muhammad Gay or Larry Nance Jr. at power forward. And Clint, if he's still here, starts at the center off the bench. He just needs to concentrate on getting rebounds. Get a rebound and pass it. That's it. Be that guy. Be our Dennis Rodman. Be concerned about that because he's never been an offensive scorer of any kind because, again, Clint can't hit a jumper from anywhere on the court. He has no touch on the inside. He can't hit free throws, and he can't hit a three. He has never shot a three before. He's 0% from three. Can't help us from there. Okay? Concentrate on getting boards. We got other people who can score. We got to get stops. We got to get defensive rebounds. Again, because Clint was getting 5 offensive rebounds a game, that only meant he was getting 4 defensive rebounds at most nights because he averaged 10 a game, 10 rebounds a game. Those 10 rebounds didn't really affect the game, though. Because, again, the offensive rebounds, most of those were off of his shots, and he wasn't putting them back in. And, again, if he's not getting but 4 defensive rebounds, that means we're getting killed in there, right? So if you got Clint coming off the bench, though, that helps us off and helps us out. And also, because Clint is bad on defense, unfortunately, that's just the truth. Now you don't have Clint out there for the majority of minutes giving up wide open threes or layups because he gives up a lot of layups. Okay? So our reserves, you have Wallace, who has a two-way, right? You have Roddy, and you have Seth, who also has a two-way. You have Vic, you have Barlow, and you have Cody, if we keep Cody. So with that, again, if we have any kind of injuries, this is a lot better than what we had. You saw the footage of Roddy. You saw the footage of Barlow. Okay? Yes, that's just an example of whatnot, one game. But that was in game, especially with Roddy. That was in game. And that was an NBA game there. He played very well in that game. And he got the chance. It's all about getting the chance, though, right? And he played both sides of the ball. And again, that's where I think the change as far as who we have now, right now, is going to make a difference because you got a lot more players that are a little bit more enhanced when it comes to defense. Even with Larry Nance Jr., he is a competitor, okay? So if you have people like that, plus Kobe, we're going to see him play finally, hopefully, even though he's hurt right now again. But we saw him be able to play some pretty good defense as well. Now, the only worry really is still Muhammad Gay because so far, just a little bit that we saw this summer, doesn't look like he really has gotten that much better at defense. Last year as a rookie, he was not good at all. We saw that. I mentioned that a lot, okay? I showed y'all in some of the game footage. I mean, there was a game against the Pacers where the Pacers scored 157 points. Muhammad Gay gave up 30 of those points himself, okay? And this is why I say we need to have somebody on that bench as an assistant coach that's really good at defense, coaching defense. And we need a big man coach. We've needed that for like half a decade, and we still don't got it. I don't know why. I'm not sure. 646-652-4479, my bad, but the number is right there, though, folks. Come on. So, again, I feel that will make our team deeper, even with Cody. Now, Cody doesn't really have a lot, to show for anything, but you'd be at least 6 fouls. Cody does have a little bit of an edge to him, right? Let him be our Ivan Johnson, maybe, right? Just release the Kraken, right? So that could be a little bit of something there. But again, I just think on the surface, what we've done, if this is all we're going to do this offseason, okay, I believe we'll be a more competitive team. And at least on the defensive end, we can stop giving up some of the easy points. We can stop giving up 14 threes. Think about that. 14 threes is 42 points. What if we only gave up 9 threes a game? What if we only gave up, 44 points in the paint as an average instead of 53? That changes it. What if we only gave up 15 fast break points instead of whatever it is? Like we were 28th in fast break points. That's bad. There's the Nuggets game, the most recent game that I've reviewed is the Denver Nuggets. They had 24 fast break points, 48 points in the paint, and they hit 23 threes on 56% shooting. How is any of that positive? Now, I'm going to show y'all some of that footage, I guess, because I still haven't deleted it yet. And I'll show it to y'all just so you can see it for yourself, because some people just don't want to watch games. I understand that. But again, reality is reality. The whole team is bad at defense. And it's not all one player's fault. One player don't got nothing to do with everybody else doing their job. You got to do your job. You got to do your job no matter what. And to not do your job because you don't want to is bull. It just is. It's not a manly thing to do. That's why I did the show. What's the point? Have you ever played basketball before was the first question of that show. If you played basketball on any level, high school, college, semi-pro, junior high, was your goal to win the game? And if your goal was to win the game, is it ever okay for someone else to do your job instead of you? If the goal is to win and not just walking up and down the court. If there's a score that's being taken, somebody has to have more points than the other team. Doesn't matter if it's 15 points or 1 point. You got to do enough to where you got to score enough or stop the other team from scoring to where you can win. That means you can't not fight through the screen. You cannot not contest a shot, right? You can't just let people just do whatever on the floor. You can't just be ball watching and have your back turned to your man, and your man is basically waiting for the ball to come back to him because you're not playing him. You're playing empty space. We do it all the time. I'm going to show y'all in a little bit because I got time tonight. So that's how I feel about the team right now. If we don't do anything else, I believe we'll be better. How much better? We were 10th last year. 10th last year, right? So did we do enough to not be 10th? I think yes. Did we do enough to get to 6th and automatically be in the playoffs? That I don't know. It really depends on a lot. Trey is going to probably get his 25 and 10, maybe. He might not have to get 25 if other people step up. But let's just say he does. Let's say our other 20-point scorer is going to be JJ, obviously, right? Well, let's just say our rookie has a good season and gets at least 15. Let's just say that. Let's say Dyson gets at least 10. Let's see O gets at least 16, 17. Then the bench. Can Kobe, if Bogey and Hunter do what they usually would do, that's at least 25 points off the bench. So we only need Kobe and Gay and Nance and Clint to get us another 10, 12, 13 points combined. And you got 35 points coming off the bench on most nights. If we can do that, if the defense improves, we'll win games. Our win total would flip. Instead of us having 46 losses, we could have 46 wins. If we just played the defense. Look, the Indiana Pacers made the Eastern Conference Finals averaging 130 points a game. And they didn't care about no defense. They didn't play defense. The coach even said they didn't play no defense. But they said, outscore us, we dare you. They scored 150 points plus on the Hawks twice this season. I'm going to show you some footage from one of those games as well. Okay? So that's why I feel as far as the Hawks go so far. This is just tidbits. I'm going to do a little bit, probably a more detailed show another time. Again, I did this show tonight, an hour and a half before 10 o'clock. I put a whole show together, so it ain't as detailed as I want it to be. Sorry. But what do y'all think? 646-652-4479 is the number. You can still call in. We've got about 20 minutes to the show left. I am going to that can't be good. I am going to switch real briefly here from the Hawks to Atlanta United. And again, if you've never watched Around the ATL, we do a full show of all of the sports teams in Atlanta and Georgia. All right. And again, tonight we did do some UGA talk. Okay. As we get closer to college football season, we're going to break everything down per conference, ACC, SEC, the new conferences and everything a little bit. But definitely we're going to concentrate on our teams in Georgia. Well, I want to talk Atlanta United briefly. And in that being said, you know what? I haven't played their theme in a while. I should play it, shouldn't I? Let me see if I can find it real quick. You know what? Let's do this. Let me take one more break, and then I'm going to come back. It's going to be a brief break, though. Let me take a break. We're going to come back, talk Atlanta United. We're going to finish up talking Falcons and Hawks. If you have time, you want to chime in, got a comment, it's your chance to talk. 646-652-4479. I'll put you on hold. But I'll be right back. This is Chris. Well, let me actually use my sounder like I'm supposed to, right?
You are listening to Around the ATL with Chris and Jordan. We'll be right back with more Atlanta Sports Talk.
So I'm playing on the big stage. The way you try to
And we are back. That was, again, artist C. Ross with Under Construction. Again, if you're an artist out there and you would like to send me some bumper music to use in between segments, definitely hit me up, IMTM Worldwide Radio on Instagram. So I was going to do the theme for Atlanta United, but it's a little long, and I really want to kind of get back into finishing the show with some Hawks talk and Falcons talk. But I'll probably will play it next time we do a full show. But Atlanta United right now, again, they're in trouble again. They're better off than they were earlier in the season. It was really over. They still have a little bit of a shot, but they're ninth in the East currently with 28 points total. They have 7 wins, 11 losses. I think they have 7 draws. They have 35 goals altogether. But the biggest thing with Atlanta United, again, is they have no continuity on the pitch, which is the field for those who don't know soccer. Because they always giving their players away to people in the world. This is terrible. So every time you have somebody who's really good, somebody buys them out, snatches them up. And we're left with crumbs. But at this point, what can they do to ensure they can make a run again? Since 2018, when they actually won the MLS Cup, they actually did win their championship. Okay? They're the only other team other than the Braves that have won a championship. Think about that. They haven't been around that long. It's kind of sad, right? But since then, and then they lost in the conference finals in 2019, they either have missed the playoffs altogether or got knocked out in the first round. Last year, they got knocked out in the first round. So what can they do to not have that happen? Okay, so I mentioned this because if you're an Atlanta United fan and you love the game of soccer, there's a lot of fans that go to Mercedes-Benz match after match, but we do talk about it. You know, we're one of a few that really actually goes into it a little bit. So definitely, if you're a fan, tell other people. If you see this, again, if you didn't see it live, but you see it after the fact, and you hear me talk about Atlanta United a little bit, you want to talk about it, hit us up. And of course, you can always message on the comment section as you're watching this show. And again, as soon as I have some time, I'll go back through and I'll read a couple and I'll answer back. But again, Atlanta United has just, with the fan began with, is really died down because we can't compete. We just simply cannot compete against Miami went and got Messi. Am I saying we need to go get Ronaldo? Not necessarily, but the thing of it is that if we get somebody who's really good, we can't just let him go for nothing. You know what I'm saying? We have to capitalize on having a really good player and put enough players around that person to where we can win, just like the Atlanta Hawks. Trae Young, Dominique Wilkins. So let's go back to the Hawks, just on that tangent real quick. So if you go back and you look at the 60-win team, go look at that roster and then go look at the next year and see who's on the roster and tell me what the Hawks did to try to win the next season. They were in the Eastern Conference Finals. No, they had no chance because they didn't have anybody who could excel and put the team over the top. It wasn't going to be Jeff. Y'all not mad about that. It wasn't going to be Al. I like Al. He should have been a 24-12 player, and he wasn't. But since they didn't have that, why didn't they go and do that the next year? And put them over the top. Why didn't they do that? Go look at the 2020 season roster that Trae Young took to the Eastern Conference Finals, where nobody was mad at Trae about playing no defense then, as we're beating the Knicks and Philly and almost beating the Milwaukee Bucks. Watched Kevin Huerter average 11 points through the playoffs. Hunter didn't play after the Knicks series. We had no help. What did we do for 2021 season? We didn't do anything, did we? Go look at the roster. Go actually look at the roster and read the names, and it should make you mad. 2022 season, 2023 season, what did the Hawks do? We did absolutely nothing again. Compared to all the other teams over the last 6 years, how they have gotten better year after year after year, either through draft, free agency, or trades. And the Hawks just don't have the track record. So here we are again. But this year we did do some things, and that's why I was saying, you know what, we got to be a little bit positive, because at first I didn't think we were going to do anything, and then they kept subtly doing this and doing that and doing a little maneuvering and doing, you know, and all of a sudden we do have a little bit more of a different team makeup-wise. And we are addressing some of the things that have been an issue. Now, again, it's on paper, but again, I've shown a lot of film. If the film matches up to the player, we'll be better. We will be better. So let's talk about that part now. So let's see if I can do this, because I was worried about this part, trying to switch over. Is this it right here? Yep. So the most recent game that I have reviewed was the Denver Nuggets, okay? They won that. This is game 78. They won that game. What time is it? Ooh, I gotta hurry up. They won that game 142 to 110. And as I mentioned before, they shot 60% from the field. That's bad, y'all. That means they almost never missed a shot. They shot 56% from three. That's bad, y'all. They didn't miss any threes. They shot 23 threes. That's bad, y'all. That's bad. They had 10 second chance points, too, in that game. That's bad. On top of 24 fast break points. That's bad. KCP had 24. MPJ had 20. Joker had 19, 11, and 14. If Trae Young is the reason people keep saying that y'all can't win games, Trae Young didn't play in this game. Why was this game so bad? Nobody was hurt. In this particular game, Bruno gave up 14 points. Bogey gave up 26. DJ 23. Hunter 18. Clint 29. Clint gave up 5 threes in this game, and Bogey gave up 6 3-pointers in this game. He gave up 18 points by himself. Do y'all want to see some of that? Let's do it. So let's go first quarter. Oops. Okay. Let's go the first shot of the first quarter of the Denver game. So I'm going to show y'all a couple, but again, if you go to IMTN Worldwide Radio on YouTube and hit subscribe, you can watch all of these yourself. I do have the games numbered, I think all of them. Again, up till now, I'm going backwards to forwards. So it starts with the play-in game against the Bulls, going the opposite direction. First shot, first quarter. Here we go.
Porter got it back. Jokic. Late grenade, and he knocks it in.
Did you see the effort that Clint Capella gave on Joker? Just that whole possession. Did you see what he did? And gave up a wide open 3 to Joker. One of the 5 that he gave up. Here, let me show you the first shot of the third quarter real quick.
DeAndre Hunter in double figures. Remember, no Aaron Gordon tonight. Jokic shoots a 3. Got it. And Nikola Jokic, whose three-point shooting.
Explain how that's good defense. Let me show you the third shot of the first quarter.
Missed his first shot, guarded by DeJounte. He's having a good season, particularly with Trae Young. Now Murray's in the lane, over to Porter. Porter's got a good look for 3.
I kind of want to show you this fast break that Joker had, but I don't know if I'm going to have time to do it. I would show you. No, I'm not going to show you that. Let me show you this second shot of the second quarter real quick, though.
We haven't
seen very much. Strother. Holiday for three. Got it. Nice pass.
Bogey wasn't on his man, was he? Nope. I really want to show you this fast break from Joker, but there's so many shots, it's hard to find them all. Let me show you this nice shot of the second quarter, though.
Murray, scoop it, and Watson lays it in. So by
and this is
what 59-50 Nuggets.
Remember, they shot 60% in this game. I'm showing this to y'all. Okay.
(109-95). Jokic, good pump fake. Porter for three. Nails it.
I really wanted to find the fast break, and I can't find it. I kind of want to show y'all our fake zone defense as well. Oh, there it is right there. One of the things I've always talked about is we can't even play zone defense. We have no defensive discipline, but we also don't have the knowledge.
He's going to go there every time, and Lamb's going to try to chop it to a little zone. Jackson, Watson, Holiday, Strother, Najee, the five on the floor for Denver, all wearing headbands.
So that's just a little bit of an example. So I want to show. It's 5 minutes left. Let me show y'all why we need to go ahead and put Clint on the bench. I'm going to show y'all, and you can agree to disagree, but I don't think you can at this point. I'm going to just show you this, and then I'm going to get off of here.
Nobody's benefited more from playing with Tyrese than Miles Turner. He's been able to put him in position to make plays, catch the ball, giving him confidence.
Murray again, too strong off the glass. Capella, and they gang rebound, and Halliburton tiptoes along the end line. Yeah, good to see Bruce Brown out there again. Andrew Nembhard missing his second consecutive game out due to injury. He was in the starting lineup as the Pacers started this win streak. That's a miss by Capella, rebounded by Turner.
This is where the psychology comes in. You want to make sure that Toppin gets rewarded for the fact that he played well.
Bay misses, rebound, there's Capella, and he missed it again, and that's Pacers ball.
Enough to freeze the defense.
Had missed 5 straight games with a right knee bone bruise. Had 15 points the other night against Milwaukee. That's a blocked shot.
This is all the same game, by the way.
These are two teams that average better than 14 made threes per game. Turner again in the center of the floor. Goes inside against Bay. And a foul. Again, the Pacers had great balance. They had 4 starters in double figures. Jalen Smith was one of those with 11. Halliburton was the only starter not in double figures as Turner starts with a jump shot. Trent Forrest is in for Atlanta. Also, Bogdan Bogdanovic. As Turner's jump shot good, Pacers lead by 5.
I can't tell you how good that pass is. Capella, that's how he makes it. Capella, that's how he makes his living. But you got to be ready to shoot that.
Halliburton gets in, finds Turner, and Turner lays it in.
What y'all saw right there, it's happening every game. What I just showed y'all, that bevy of clips from the one of 2 games that the Pacers scored 150 points on us, happens every game. Okay? And again, you can be in denial all you want to, but you saw a big that can't score in the paint against a big that can score everywhere on the floor. We lost 21 games by 7 points or less. Go look at the score of that first Pacers game. Those misses count. And then the points that are given up on the other end also count. When you're scoring 118 and giving up 120, you don't have no room for error at that point. Okay? So that being said, again, you can agree to disagree. I would like to know. I only got 90 seconds left, so I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank everybody for the ones who did kind of glance in a little bit, cheated a little bit, and those who did listen on the radio version since it was open tonight. And anybody who does get a chance to watch this after effect, I definitely appreciate y'all. But just make sure you subscribe to the page. That way you get the notification that I'm going to be on the air. That being said, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Y'all have a great rest of the week. Hopefully, game 77 against the Dallas Mavericks, I will have that up and running probably by the end of the weekend. So look out for that review. I'm going to continue that review of the season because we need to see all these things, okay? In the meantime, y'all take care, and y'all have a good one.